that, how about the fact that this guy was running this for decades? He was doing this for decades to who knows how many people, and everybody was scared to talk about it because he'd have them killed. Their thing is to do something that is horrible. I think there's like a sickness that people have when they have power, like extreme power, and then well, what else can I do? What else can I do? What else is what else is taboo? What else is forbidden? Like all this Diddy is coming. I think there's so many powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Everyone's flooding the comments, trying to figure out who 50 Cent called out in that Diddy docu-series. But Joe Rogan just shifted the lens, pointing out that some very familiar names weren't even mentioned. And people don't think that's a coincidence. Because when a federal investigation dominates headlines, the real story isn't just about who gets named first, it's about who goes silent overnight, who disappears from events, who suddenly seeks distance, who moves like they can feel the spotlight turning. Right now, one name is resurfacing harder and faster than many expected: Ellen DeGeneres. As the Diddy conversation reignited, Ellen quietly faded from public view. She relocated, first off the grid, then re-emerged in England and has stayed low profile ever since. Officially, it was framed as a political choice, discomfort with the post-2024 election climate, a desire for peace, clean, simple, but online. The timing keeps raising eyebrows. People aren't seeing politics, they're seeing pressure. Because when a story like this trends again, the past doesn't stay buried. Old clips get rewatched, old friendships get re-examined, and sudden exits, they start to feel intentional.
Great. So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though. It'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
And then it will carry on there?
Yeah. Then No, I mean the after party.
No, I know about them.
And were you surprised by the allegations about P. Diddy? Did that surprise you about P. Diddy?
Alan, can
He's been on your show many times.
Have a good night.
Have you been to his party?
Here's where it gets complicated. Ellen and Diddy weren't just industry acquaintances. They were regular collaborators, laughing, joking, leaning into the party persona like it was just harmless fun. Back then, it played as entertainment. Today, those same moments land differently, not as proof, but as receipts. Footage that, once seen through a new lens, can't be unseen, and the conversation doesn't stop there. With renewed focus on Diddy's after-hours world, and persistent online rumors about unreleased footage, people are rereading the energy around anyone tied to him. And when the internet locks onto a narrative, it doesn't whisper, it hunts. For years, whispers have circulated online that Ellen's private life didn't quite match the sunny, polished TV image. People revisit old relationships, question how they ended, and whether things were ever as coincidental as they seemed. Then there's Steven T-Wich Boss. He wasn't just the DJ, he was family on that show. His death sent shockwaves far beyond Hollywood, though the official narrative has long been public. Online theories resurface every time bigger names trend again. Not facts, just speculation flaring up in the heat of the moment. That's the pattern. Once people believe there's smoke, they start scanning every corner for a match. So let's stack it. Ellen stepping back completely, changing her look, her location, her visibility. All while the Diddy story keeps evolving and the rumor mill insists more names are coming. Which leads to the real question: if the spotlight swings again, does Ellen's name stay buried, or does it resurface? That brings us to the next name, Ashton Kutcher. Because in this reckoning, it's not just about what you did, it's about where you were, who you were around, and how comfortable you looked in those rooms. Throwback clips are trending again, and people swear Ashton looked right at home in those elite party circles, smiling, dancing, completely at ease. Not like a man out of place, but like someone enjoying the moment. And things got awkward fast when he was asked about those parties publicly. Instead of a clear denial, pauses, nervous laughter, stumbling words. The kind of response that makes viewers lean in and wonder, what's he not saying?
Party stories are our favorite genre of anecdote, if you have one, yeah.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell.
can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. Diddy party stories, man.
Then came the backlash over the Danny Masterson letters. Ashton and Mila Kunis publicly defending him after his conviction. The fallout was swift. He stepped back from the anti-trafficking org he helped co-found. For many, this wasn't just misjudgment, it was alignment. Because once a circle is labeled toxic, anyone defending someone inside it gets pulled into the same shadow. Add in rumors of unreleased footage, names floating online, and Ashton's clear presence in those spaces. And suddenly the question isn't if he was there, it's how deep he was in Diddy's world. And once that question lands, it doesn't stop with him, because people don't look for one name, they look for a chain, which brings us to the next link. Russell Brand, at first dismissed as noise. Then old footage resurfaced, Brand and Diddy on a private jet laughing like old friends. And the vibe alone made people side-eye hard.
Hey, yo, what's up, y'all? We are on the plane right now, on our way to Vegas. It's called What Happens in Vegas Stays in Vegas. I'm here with this is my new best friend right here. My new best friend. Hello. Rusty Rocket.
Is this for Twitter?
Yeah, yes, also known now on like a date, a straight guy date, like to a guy's night, 48 hours.
With a normal date between like a man and a woman, two gay men or lesbian women, the best possible result of that date.
Feeling controlled, like he didn't have real agency, like going along wasn't a choice, it was the only option left.
Diddy's new to me, right? He looked after me, he took me on an enforced holiday to Vegas. He's a very intense man because I think he come from nothing and now he's very, very powerful. People that do stuff like that, they're intense. Now, I like him, he's very influential. Say that you don't want to do something and Diddy does want you to do it. It's really hard to not do that thing.
Is it the mind or?
He's a bit like the mind. He's very...
Once allegations of power plays and manipulation surface, people start connecting the dots. The question isn't just if Russell Brand was there, it's how deep he got pulled in. Was he just along for the ride, or did he witness things most people couldn't begin to imagine? And that's why the timeline and the resurfacing footage keeps forcing a reevaluation. What once looked like coincidence now reads like context, which brings us to the next name circling back into focus, Paris Hilton. Turns out she wasn't just a peripheral figure in that world. She was front and center for years at the highest profile events, the white-themed parties, the birthday blowouts, the headline-grabbing nights, always near Diddy, always in the frame. Right now, old posts and throwback clips are trending again, but this time they're being watched differently, with heavier eyes, sharper questions, and let's be clear, she wasn't shy about it back then either. She praised the scene openly, enthusiastically, when it was still just glamour. Now, that same praise is being reread like a footnote no one noticed the first time.
The best party I've ever been to was at Blank's house.
Puffy's 50th birthday. It was so sick.
Yeah.
Epic.
People keep circling back to that 2017 post, now resurfacing, where Paris glowed about one of Diddy's house parties. She called it unforgettable, wrote about having an epic time, praised him as talented, said the energy was crazy. And yes, she even dropped the heart of gold line. Now that post is being dragged into the spotlight hard. One comment puts it bluntly, wait, she went to those parties, you know what that means. Another notes that heart of gold line hits different now. Because when the mood shifts, old compliments don't just age, they get refiled, not as proof but as context, not because they're incriminating on their own, but because they show how freely people spoke before anyone started hesitating. So the questions multiply. Did she just show up, party, and leave? Or did she see more than the cameras ever captured? How much did she actually know about what happened off script? And if she did know something, was there pressure to stay silent? Right as that question lingers, the tone shifts, because people don't just focus on the guests anymore. They start looking closer to the center, which brings us to Kim Porter. Her timeline has been questioned for years. Online, it never fully settled, not because of evidence, but because when closure feels absent, speculation fills the silence and writes its own narrative. Let's be clear, Kim wasn't just connected. She was Diddy's longtime partner, a co-parent to his children. Someone embedded deeply in the inner circle for over a decade. And that proximity fuels the speculation. Could she have witnessed things that didn't match the public facade, heard conversation, noticed tension, seen moments never meant for the spotlight? Then she got sick. Pneumonia was listed as the official cause, and the internet did what it always does. Some treated the timing as tragic but straightforward. Others whispered too sudden, too quiet, too convenient. Theories resurfaced not as fact, but as echoes, the kind that grow louder every time people feel like the truth was never fully told.
died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said it was ruled a homicide and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like.
And once the public starts dissecting the inner circle, it doesn't stop at partners. It moves inevitably toward family. Because if the story is bigger than one person, the assumption forms. The system around them didn't just tolerate it, it helped it function. Which brings us to another name drawing intense scrutiny, Janice Combs, Diddy's mother. In mainstream narratives, she's the devoted, protective matriarch. But online, a different portrait circulates. Some don't see her as just a loyal mom, they frame her as someone who understood the game early. The power of charm, the weight of control, the architecture of influence. The theory, she didn't just witness the rise, she helped shape how that empire moved. And believers point to the evidence they do have, old interviews, behind-the-scenes moments, interactions that on rewatch feel less like maternal pride and more like quiet authority. Not proof, but pattern. And in the absence of transparency, pattern becomes narrative.
Yeah, my mom's good. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
It's the footage reinterpreted through today's lens. The viral snippets reposted on loop, stripped of context, amplified by suspicion. Whether it proves anything or not, these visuals keep getting weaponized. And with every share, her online image takes another hit. So the central question hardens. Was she simply protecting her son the way any mother might? Or was she in quieter ways part of the infrastructure, helping the machine run just out of frame? That line of questioning doesn't stop there. It glides almost inevitably to young Miami. And honestly, her presence in this conversation isn't surprising at all. She has remained publicly loyal, even as leaked footage surfaced, even as headlines turned darker, even as the narrative grew harder to defend. People remember her statements clearly. He's working on himself, therapy, inner growth, he's changing. At the time, it sounded like hope. Now, some hear it and wonder, was that growth real or just part of the Ray brand? The man.
The man that I've come to know over the past 4 years. So she talks about in those years how they were in a public relationship. And she says she came to know a completely different person. She says that Diddy motivated her. He believed in her. He helped her grow both professionally and personally. And she says that she's writing this letter because she believes it's important to the court to...
But critics aren't convinced. To them, it doesn't read as loyalty, it reads as perks. The private jets, the designer lifestyle, the access unfiltered, uninterrupted. One comment cut straight through. She's there for the money. And from there, the rumors compound. People claim she too moved through those after-hours spaces, pointing to recurring symbols, repeated details, and yes, the white nails comparison that refuses to fade from comment sections. None of it's proven. But it spreads fast because it fits a narrative people are already leaning into. And once a story takes root, even the smallest detail starts to feel significant. Now the chatter sounds like this: if the ship is sinking, anyone still standing on deck might go down with it, especially if more names surface. Especially if new footage ever drops, something the public can't explain away. So we're left with the real questions: who's truly loyal? And who's sitting on something that could, in one move, blow the whole thing wide open? You tell us, what do you think is really happening behind the scenes? Drop your take in the comments. And if you're here for raw timelines, unfiltered context, and breakdowns that don't pull punches, hit like, tap subscribe, and click the next video right now.